Welcome to this explainer. We're going to dive straight into the ultimate upgrader's dilemma today, the clash between the recently retired iPhone 16 Pro and the highly debated newcomer, the iPhone 17 Pro. If you're sitting there wondering if it's finally time to trade in your current device, or maybe you're just hunting for the smartest deal on the market right now, you are in exactly the right place. Because, look, the 16 Pro is still considered one of Apple's absolute masterpieces, right? Incredible build, great cameras, tons of power. Which leads us to a really big question. Does just a single year of iteration actually make that older phone obsolete? Is Apple's newest flagship a truly revolutionary leap, or is it kind of just a polished stepping stone? Let's unpack the data. All right, Section 1, Design and Display Shifts. Let's look at what's actually changed on the outside. So right off the bat, the most immediate change isn't hiding on a spec sheet. It's literally right on the back of the phone. Apple totally ditched that classic compact square camera housing we've had for years. Instead, they've gone with this new, wide, horizontal plateau design that stretches almost across the whole back. Opinions are definitely split on this. Some think it looks super balanced, others really miss the old refined look. But no matter where you stand, it's a huge visual departure, and it's for sure going to be the very first thing you notice. And this new design brilliantly illustrates the trade-off game Apple is playing this year. They actually dropped the featherweight premium grade 5 titanium that defined the 16 Pro. Crazy, right? They swapped it for slightly heavier aluminum. But it wasn't just to cut costs. Aluminum actually conducts heat much more efficiently, and Apple paired this with a brand new internal vapor chamber cooling system. It's a total first for the iPhone. This means you get sustained peak performance during heavy gaming or 4K video editing without any thermal throttling. The catch, though? The 17 Pro does gain a little weight, moving from 199 grams up to about 206. Now let's talk about a massive number, 3,000. If you're constantly using your phone at the beach, or you rely on it for dashboard navigation on a really sunny day, this is a literal game changer. The 17 Pro pushes peak outdoor brightness to a blinding 3,000 nits. That's a whopping 50% increase over the 16 Pro. Throw in the new anti-reflective coating, and squinting at your screen outdoors is practically a thing of the past. Now, while the 6.3-inch screen size and that crisp OLED resolution stay exactly the same between both generations, durability gets a major bump. The 17 Pro upgrades to Ceramic Shield 2. Independent testing shows this new glass, combined with the redesigned frame, can survive roughly double the number of drops compared to the 16 Pro. So, if you're notoriously clumsy, this upgrade alone might just make the decision for you. Moving on to Section 2, Power and Battery Gains. Let's see those performance upgrades. Under the hood, the 17 Pro is packing the brand new A19 Pro chip, built on a 3-nanometer process. We're talking a massive 30 to 40% raw compute boost over the older A18 Pro. But honestly, the crucial point isn't just the processor speed, it's the standard RAM. It jumps up to 12 gigabytes from the 8 gigabytes we saw on the 16 Pro. This gives you essential headroom for all those future on-device Apple Intelligence features. It basically means the phone can juggle more AI models directly in memory without breaking a sweat. And surprisingly, all that power doesn't kill the battery. Thanks to a larger capacity, now exceeding 4,000 milliamp hours, plus that highly efficient A19 chip and the new cooling chamber, Apple is claiming a massive leap. Video playback jumps from an already great 27 hours on the 16 Pro to an impressive 33 hours on the 17 Pro. But let's look at real-world use, because a looping video in a lab isn't exactly how we live our lives, right? Independent testing reveals that in continuous, mixed daily use, scrolling, snapping photos, navigating, your actual gain is closer to an extra 30 to 60 minutes of screen time. It's a genuine quality of life improvement, especially on heavy use days, even if it's slightly more modest than the shiny marketing claims. And when you do eventually run out of juice, the 17 Pro's new wired charging standard, PD 3.2, really steps up. It shaves a solid 10 minutes off the older model's time, getting you to a 50% charge in just 20 minutes. If you're someone who constantly forgets to plug in until right before you leave the house, that extra 10 minutes saved is going to feel like absolute magic. All right, let's hit Section 3, the camera system overhaul. These are some major updates. It is time to say goodbye to those 12-megapixel holdovers. For the longest time, the telephoto lens lagged behind the main cameras in resolution, but on the 17 Pro, all 3 rear cameras are 48 megapixels. The telephoto has finally taken that massive leap. This means significantly better computational zoom, way more detail retention when you crop in, and just generally much sharper results across the board. This represents a total redesign of the zoom experience, too. You actually lose the 16 Pro's standard 5x optical zoom. But in exchange, you gain a 4x mid-range zoom and an incredible 8x true optical reach. That 8x is the longest optical zoom Apple has ever put in an iPhone. It is absolutely perfect for capturing distant sports from the bleachers or snapping wildlife while you're out on a hike. The selfie camera gets a dramatic redesign as well, jumping up to an 18-megapixel square sensor. Why a square? Well, it naturally frames wider group shots without forcing you to awkwardly rotate your phone. The system just dynamically crops the square sensor to fit exactly what you need. Plus, they introduced a new dual capture mode, letting you record from the front and back cameras at the exact same time. If you vlog or film reaction content, this literally changes everything. Finally, Section 4, the final verdict. Which one should you actually buy? Before you get sticker shock that the 17 Pro starts at $1,099 instead of the 16 Pro's $999 entry point, let's look at the storage context. Apple dropped the 128GB base tier entirely for this new generation. The 17 Pro starts at 256GB, so the per gigabyte value actually remains exactly the same as last year. You're just being forced to buy the larger capacity right out of the gate. So the crucial takeaway really comes down to this. If you have an iPhone 14 Pro or older, and you want that massive 8x zoom, the sustained vapor chamber cooling for mobile gaming, or you just need maximum brightness for outdoor use, get the 17 Pro. The leap will feel monumental. But if you want that premium, lightweight titanium feel, and you happen to find a heavy discount on an open box or refurbished 16 Pro, that discontinued model is an incredible steal for everyday scrollers and bargain hunters. I'll leave you with this final thought based on your own daily habits. Do you truly need the bleeding edge tech, pushing the absolute limits of zooming and AI processing? Or is last year's masterpiece actually the smartest investment for your wallet yet? Either way, you're choosing between two of the most capable devices ever made. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.